individual practice, guided practice. 2 times, okay? Separated into 2. Guided practice basically is me holding their hands, holding my students' hands, and helping them a lot. And then individual practice is to let them, you know, fly solo a little bit and, you know, kind of like review and to check if they have learned what I've, you know, taught at the beginning. And then we need to have a closure. This is important, guys, because it has to do with routine. It has to do with time. It has to do with kids. You know, time goes by differently in a 2D lesson, right? So if you don't want to have kids asking all the time, when is the class going to finish? When is the class going to finish? Are we going to finish now? Where are we? Without this skeleton, the class is going to be very loosened and kids are going to be lost. So routine is like this. This is the skeleton of the class. Pay attention to timing. Closure is important. What are the elements that you are going to use? Final tip, I use Word. I'm very old schooled. I use Word. I don't have any apps to do that. I just do it, you know, Word, the links, I put it there, and that's it. Oh my gosh, that was fast. Thank you so much, guys. Guys, if you have any questions, this is the time to ask the question. Laíze.
Can I ask on the microphone?
Yes, please. Guys,
Yeah.
to ask the question.
All right.
And
Tati. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, no, just a quick reminder, Cibele. The microphones, we ask you to keep it mute during the presentation. But after the presentation, we're going to have sessions like this. We are going to have with Katherine Jara right now. So please ask your questions. And I sent a message also in the chat area asking you guys to fill in a form to receive the certificate and the ebook. Okay? So questions, fire them away to Tati, please.
Okay. My question, Tati, you talked about homework and depending if the parents are agreeing with homework or not. Do you try to negotiate or do you try to explain to them first, like how important it is for the kids to do homework, or you just respect their opinion and that's it?
Yeah, since I teach my private students, I try to come up with a very friendly conversation with the parents. So if they say that they really want homework and a lot of homework, I try to, you know, negotiate a little bit. Okay, so a lot of homework's not very good. I mean, let's try, because in my lessons, and this is important, your brand, your lessons, your you have to get to know you as an online teacher first to see what you are going to deliver later. What is your speech? My speech is, okay, if parents want homework, I'll go with homework. If parents don't want homework, I'm not going to leave, you know, I'm not going to give you homework. So this is what I always come up with a friendly conversation, but I respect what they say. Sorry, there are some questions here in the chat box. Do you use textbooks, Katy? Yes, I used to use them, but I didn't like the pictures and I'm very visual. Kids didn't really like it. Or if they didn't care about the pictures, I, you know, try to come up with my own material. So I create my own material. Is it tiring? Yes, it is, but it's very rewarding at the end. How long do your classes usually last? For little kids from 0 to 5 years old, 30 minutes. And from, yeah, because maybe some parents want their babies to have online lessons, you know. I'm changing my mindset, right? From 0 to 5 years old, no more than 30 minutes. And then 6, 7 years old and up, older, I would say no more than 50 minutes.
Right. And then I read an article, very interesting, that had this. that during early adolescence, youth are more interested in real-life experiences and authentic learning opportunities. They are less interested in traditional academic subjects. That is why, usually, when you ask about their favorite teachers, the teenagers are going to talk about the cool teachers and the ones that they have a good relationship with. Because usually those are the teachers that bring bonding experiences to the classroom, that make the students feel good about themselves and about the teachers. And you can absolutely have learning situations and opportunities during this bonding, during these experiences. But these are the ones that the teenagers are actually seeking. So that's why they remember the human experience and not necessarily the subject. So how can we create an environment that enables this kind of experience to take place in the classroom? The first thing is getting to know your students. This sounds very basic, but I know that sometimes this is where the trouble lies, right? Because establishing this connection, because we know that teenagers are not the most open bunch that we've seen around. So we know that getting to know them might be a little challenging sometimes. Okay, but don't worry, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So according to scales, adolescents tend to be inquisitive about adults and are often keen observers of adult behavior. So this means that more often than not, what you do and how you act and react to the teenagers is more important to them. It causes a bigger impact than what you say, because they are observing you all the time. So we need to keep in mind that this is a moment in their lives where they are under a lot of pressure socially. They are going through hormonal changes, so they feel judged all the time by their peers, by the family, by society. Nobody understands them. And so all of this is a lot for the teenager to bring to the classroom. So we as educators, we need to keep an open mind when we are dealing with them. We need to understand where they're coming from, because this is a lot of things for anybody to bear, especially when you are a teenager developing brain, emotional, and social skills, right? So
não deixa a menina comer as comidas, hein?
Sorry, guys, somebody left the microphone open. But that's okay. So the $1 million question here is, how can we talk to teenagers considering all of this that is happening? Considering that sometimes they're not that willing to open up at first. So it's very simple. At least in theory, it's very simple. You just start a conversation. How do you talk to people? How do you talk to people you don't know? You say, hello, how are you? Maybe you start sharing some information about you, and then the person is going to share information back. You find something you have in common. This sounds very easy in an informal environment when you are in your life, but how can we do this with teenagers? My best advice for you is just relax and be honest with them. As adults, we understand social conventions. We know that sometimes people are being polite to you because they have to, and that's okay. But teenagers, they see through you. So if you're being over polite or over interested in them because you have to and not because you want to, they will see it, and they usually don't respond well to that. They want people who are interested in them because they are interested in them and not because they want something from them. And I think this is the easy part for us, because as educators, we are naturally genuinely interested in them, because we need to know our students in order to teach better and more efficiently, right? So we already have this on your side. You already honestly want to know more about them. So just let them see this. Let them see that you are okay, you are comfortable, and you actually want to know more about them. Okay, so I have one more thing here. Typically, young adolescents, they're eager to learn about topics they find interesting and useful once they're personally relevant. I think we know this, right? When it's something that they like, something of their interest, they will go for it. But sometimes they will feel resistant when they have to learn about grammar or something that for them is boring. So how can you plan your lesson in a way that you can bring topics that they find interesting and useful to the classroom environment? You learn about their interests. There is a generalization that, oh, all teenagers are like this, all teenagers like this or that. Don't fall for that. Don't assume that you know what the teenagers are interested in and what they like. Be humble enough to ask them about their interests. But then this is a tricky part. If you just plain blank ask them, what do you like? What do you want? Usually they say, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Whatever, anything. So you kind of have to start showing a little bit of your interests, the topics that you like, and then ask about what do they like. Always be the example first so you can bring it out of them, right? Because if you just ask them, it's probably going to hit a wall. And why does all of this happen? Why is it so tricky sometimes to establish this communication? The teenagers, they favor active over passive learning experiences and prefer interaction with peers during educational activities. This is why you have to understand. Teenagers, they are not bad communicators. They are great communicators among themselves. They are much more interested in talking to each other than talking to you. Their main interaction is with their peers because they are in the same moments of their lives. They're going through the same struggles. Of course, they're going to feel more comfortable with people around their age. And this, teachers, is not personal. I don't want anybody thinking, oh, my students are not talking to me because they don't like me. Is it something I did? Is it personal? No, it's not. If they don't look like they're interested in you, it's not because of you, it's because of them. Because you are not one of them. That's it. Okay, there is a moment they're going to engage with you, they're going to enjoy your company, but they're always going to prefer peer interaction over the interaction with you. And that's okay. That's not a problem. Just accept it and it's going to be easier like this, okay? So how can we establish some of this communication with them? I think the first thing you have to know, you have to keep in mind is, why are we teaching English to them? Why are we teaching a second language? So that they can communicate with each other, with the world around them. So the only thing is they're going to prefer to talk to each other than with you. So that's why you need to establish the communication with them first and then bring them to you. How can you do this? By establishing a safe space. The classroom needs to be a place where they feel comfortable sharing their ideas, their opinions, their feelings, and they need to feel like they won't be judged. They need to feel like you're actually with open hearts, open-minded, accepting what they have to offer you, right? So what I usually do is I usually give them some time to work with pairs before they work with me. Because then they have the moment to do the peer interaction they love so much before they come to you and talk to you the way that you were planning during the class, right? So when you think about it, to sum all of this, you have this 4 words that I want you guys to take with you today. Empathy, open mind, honesty, and safe space. Honesty because, empathy because you need to be, have empathy with the moments in life that they are going through. This is number 1. Open mind with their world and their interests. The last time we were teenagers was not that long time ago. We can still remember the time when we were teens and we felt like us and the adults were 2 different, completely far away worlds and realities. So we need to keep an open mind that they might be interested in things that it's not interesting to you, or they might be interested in things that you don't understand, but that's okay. Just accept them for who they are. It's already half of the process. Honesty, so they can relate to you, so they can trust you enough to listen to what you have to say and really consider your opinion on things. And a safe space is for them to just be who they are without having to worry about being judged or being pressured. So without having to worry about their lives outside. If you have all of these 4 things, you should have no trouble establishing rapport with your teenagers in class. And this is what I have for you guys today. I hope this is going to help you change the way you communicate with students in class. All right. Thank you very much.
So guys, now you can ask her questions, asking her what's the magic she performs on the teenagers she teaches. You can use either the chat area or you can open your mic to ask her.
Oh, I'm looking at the chat here. People were talking during.
Cibele, one important thing, it's also to analyze the psychological of the teenagers at this very moment. Some of them feel really trapped. All what they always wanted was to be in the internet 24/7, but now they're 24/7 because they have nothing else to do. And some of them are depressed. Some of them are counseling with a psychologist or a therapist. There's always one that is not okay. And in this little screen, I know how I deal with them. How do you do this? How is a good way to reach them in this moment without breaking the class?
Without breaking the class. What I usually do is currently I'm teaching English in a school that is online. So I have a big group of teenagers whenever I'm teaching. I usually start my class, the class starts at 2. So I arrive earlier, I open the class earlier, and they usually come a few minutes before, and we just start talking like, oh, how are you doing today? How was your weekend? How you're dealing with, just, informal conversation. And once they realize that I'm doing this, more of them start to do this. So in the beginning of the class, they start arriving a little bit early because they want to talk to me. And we share stories. If they're a little bit shy at first, I start sharing my stories. I talk a lot, so nobody can stop me. I start talking about my stories, and then I try to make them feel comfortable enough to share their stories as well. But I agree with you, because in the beginning, when we came to the online format, I noticed this difference. When we are in front of them in the classroom, you can see them. You can see their body language. You can see the expression. You know when they are not having a good day. In the online, it's a little bit trickier. Sometimes they don't want to open the camera. Sometimes they don't want to open the microphone. So whenever I feel like there is something off with that student, I send a private message on the class and I say, hey, how are you doing today? I ask them during the class, I'm teaching, and I send them a private message. If they just answer, everything okay? Okay. But sometimes they say, oh, I'm tired today. Oh, I'm not feeling good. And then whenever they are doing like activities on writing or pair work, I keep asking them little questions, So there are moments that you can do this. And whenever you promote peer work, they let their guard down and they usually open up to each other, even when the online format. So maybe this is an opportunity for them to express themselves and feel a little better because they have these 2-on-2 conversations without the teacher interference. If they're not feeling comfortable talking to you, they can talk to each other.
Okay. Cibele, there is one last comment here because of the time.
Sure.
I have a comment about silence. Tabitha, would you like to express yourself, please?
Yeah, just with teenagers, I've also noticed that sometimes teachers want to talk the whole time to fill that silence. And I think with teenagers, silence is okay. And I just wanted to share that experience.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes I ask them a question and then I wait. And then the seconds go by and nobody says anything. And I'm okay, I'm gonna wait. And then they start laughing and they feel uncomfortable. It's like, guys, I'm waiting for your answer. And then somebody starts, oh, okay, it's this and that. So I agree with you, Tabata, 100%. Give them some moments of silence to think about it and then they start producing.
Cibes, thank you very much, Cibes girl. It was awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so moving on in the program, the next one to speak is going to be Daniela Miranda. And the topic she's going to be speaking about is Piaget's cognitive stages. Dani is a teacher and she's known by her students as a funny and friendly teacher. She has been teaching English since 2006 and she has a bachelor degree in translation and interpreter at USCJT. She also holds a graduation in English and Portuguese and a post-graduation in Docência no Ensino Superior at FMU. She has already worked with all ages, but she found joy teaching kids and adults. You see the two extremes. Her classes are customized according to students' needs and interests. A board game lover, Dani always brings different kinds of games to her classes. So game on for you, Dani.
Hello, guys. Thank you all for coming. Welcome, everybody. So I'm talking about the Piaget's cognitive stages and how teachers can work knowing these different kinds of developments, right? So let me share my presentation here. Can you all see it? Yes? Okay. So, deixa eu trocar a câmera de lugar. The stages are the sensory motor stage, it's from the birth to 2 years old, the pre-operational stage from 2 to 7, concrete operational stage 7 to 10, and then the formal operational stage from 12 on, okay? So what happens in the sensory-motor stage? It's the beginning of everything, right? So it's when we start knowing ourselves. Yes, we start knowing our body. We start knowing the inborn nature things. Yes, the things we do without thinking about. So suction, manipulation, feeling, tasting. And it's the beginning of the first schema. What is this? Our brain works as an empty folder in our computer, right? So we have a folder and we have nothing there. And then we start putting all those files there, right? We just save, put files there. And then we start opening more files, more folders, so we can organize better these files, right? So these folders are our schemas, right? So the first schema a child creates is the suction and the inborn reflexes, right? So the natural things for them, right? And then it starts observing the world and repetition and imitation. Yeah, so that's why people say be careful when you're next to kids because they learn everything you do. And this is very true. Yes, so it starts watching the parents and the people around them to get to know what to do. Yeah, so
especially nowadays with the cell phones, they learn very, very quickly to use it because they observe, and we are always with our cell phones in our hands, right? And this happens through assimilation and accommodation. What is this? Is how our brain saves the files, right? We had there the files, and then we organize into folders, and then we throw them to the cloud, yes, to save all the files. That's how our brain works. Yes, it observes, it puts the files there, and then it organizes into folders, and then it saves, okay? I didn't prepare anything here for teachers because I don't think you have students that young, but if you do, work with things touchable. Yes, you always have to have something in their hands so they can touch, they can chew. Yes, they do that a lot, and this is how they recognize things, right? And then the pre-operational stage is the beginning of speech. Yes, so our first words are in this phase. So they have more intelligence to associate things, and they already know how to name objects. Yes, so if you say this is a dog, he's going to recognize, oh, okay, a dog. And understands everything, what you speak, and can memorize facts, but not yet dates, okay? They can remember they went to that house before, but they don't remember when. Yes, when you go to a friend's house or a school or whatever, they will remember that, but they don't know when, okay? And then they get to know the world through perception, not logic. Yes, because they have their schemes and they still don't know things very clearly. For example, if it sees a horse, it's going to say it's a dog because he has that folder that says a dog is an animal with 4 legs. And then he sees the horse and he says, oh, it's a dog. And then you say, no, it's not a dog, it's a horse. And then it's going to think about, it will understand, okay, it's bigger than a dog, so it's a horse. But it doesn't understand why, not only the size, yes, there are things more than that to describe it's a dog or it's a horse, but it doesn't understand, okay? And what teachers should do in this phase, okay? Use objects to give examples, just like if you're with a mathematic solution, you use marbles, you use pins, you can use whatever you want so the kids can touch the things, right? The directions, the commands must be short and very precise. Yes, they need to know exactly what to do. So get that marble. You can't say more than 4 or 3 words, okay, because they won't understand the rest of the sentence. Give hands-on activities, right? So as I said, they need to touch things. Yeah, so if you have complete the sentence exercise, you may give them paper so they can share the paper with the others, put the papers in order and things like that, okay? Provide activities with students' interaction, so they need to work together. As Cibele told, they work with peers, right? So they need this interaction to get to know the world better, right? So if you are working with beans and I'm working with marbles, but I want to know what marbles are too, okay? So I want to know the beans, okay? I want to get all those things, okay? And provide them different kinds of experiences. Let them get the marbles, let them get the beans, let them get everything, okay? The concrete operational stage. So it starts to develop the logical thinking. Now he understands why a horse is a horse and a dog is a dog, okay? It develops the speech, now not just words around, okay? Now they can say sentences because they have the increased vocabulary, and they now know some things about dates. Yes, now they can relate and understand reversibility. I'm gonna give you an example on the next slide about it, okay? But they still need the objects to do so, okay? Because they now want to make their own experiments. And they now understand that people are different. Yes, I am one person, you are another person. So if I'm cold, you cannot be cold, okay? So in this phase, they understand things are different from what they want, from what they like, okay? And here is an example. If you get a kid from the pre-operational state and give them 2 glasses of water, the same size, and then you put the water in another one with the different format. Is it going, and you ask, are they the same amount of water? Do they have the same amount of water? The kid will say, no, of course not. Can't you see here? This is higher. Yes, they are not the same. So they don't understand this reversibility. Yes, but if you ask the concrete operational state, these are the 2 glasses, and then I'm putting the liquid here, are they alike? And they will say, yes, of course, I saw you get the liquid from one glass to the other. They are the same, okay? The same happens with clay or dough. Yes, if you have 2 exact same pieces, and then you stretch one, it's going to understand, oh, it's the same piece stretched, right? But in the pre-operational state, they can't understand this, okay? That's the difference. The same goes with coins, yes? Even if they need to get the things to prove by themselves that it's the same, let them do it, okay? So if they want to get the glass, put back to the smaller glass and compare, and then put back to the taller glass, let them do it, okay? Because this is how they learn. So what teachers should do here then? Continue to use objects for problem solving and let them manipulate the objects, okay? Stimulate them to give more complete answers, right? Not only yes or no answers, like why, where, when, okay? So this is when they can start building some complete sentences, paragraphs, and even more complex text, okay? And give examples according to the student's reality, right? Why? I can't talk about a koala if the student doesn't know what a koala is. Okay, so I need to use things from the student's reality. And then you can stimulate them to present short stories. So you need to stimulate them to create their own stories, okay? So you can like give a sequence of flashcards and then ask them to create a sentence or a story, right? The next, formal operational stage, they develop the logical thinking. Yes, now they understand everything that goes in the world. They don't need to solve the objects. They don't need the objects to solve problems anymore. Just like in the example I gave you, the kids will need to get the objects and compare if it's the same. But now, from 12 on, it can do it mentally. Yeah, so you got the glass, so you put in the taller glass. So it's the same. Yes, you don't need to get the things to do so, right? And it can understand past, present, future. So it already knows when it went there, when it's going to be. Yeah, so we are going to travel on weekend. Okay, so I know it's 2 days from now, it's 3 days from now, right? And can already understand the concrete and the abstract. Yes, what is what really exists and what it doesn't, right? And this is when the curiosity happens, yes, the search for knowledge, the why phase, yes, why this, why that, why not, right? So this is when it starts. Actually, it started in the previous stage, but here's stronger, right? The same goes with adults, yes, but they have a very bigger background, so they understand things much, much better, okay? And let's go, teachers, what you do. You can still use the objects, yes, because we as human beings, we like touching things. We sometimes understand better by doing so, but it doesn't need to do it anymore, okay? Provide opportunities for them to explore their theories, okay? So let them try new things with new theories, just like the glasses. You have 3 different glasses only. Let them bring the 4th glass, okay? Let them bring a different kind of dough. Let them bring bigger coins. Yes, let them experiment. And stimulate them to give alternate answers. Okay, for example, oh, I'm going to the beach tomorrow. Okay, but what if it rains? What if it's cold? Okay, so try to stimulate different kinds of answers, okay? And abstract thinking, this is what I said, yes, what if? Né? So stimulus is what we need so all stages can develop well, right? So we always need to stimulate our students so they can understand things better, okay? And that's it. Thank you, guys. Sorry if it was a little confused sometimes, just a bit nervous, okay? That's it.
Beautiful job, Dani. Love it. Guys,
thank you.
Questions in the chat or mute your mics, please.
Yes, I wasn't following the chat, guys. Do you have anything? No one?
Hi, Dani.
Hello.
Somebody was mentioning on the chat, and I think if you have any suggestions, like the experiments phase is super interesting and super rich for the students to learn like that. How can we do this on the online classes? How can we get closer to that? Because we are not there to help them manipulate or give them the tools.
This is where parents come, yes. As Katie always says, parents are our best helpers, yes. So we need to know in advance, by planning our lessons very well, what we are going to need in the class. Yeah, so we need to ask parents, oh, today I want 2 different colors of dough. Today I want 10 marbles or any kind of thing like this. And then we plan with the parents what to do. And depending on what kind of experiment you want to do, we need the parents with the kids to do so. And if you are teaching a group, as the example I said, I can ask you to bring beans, Katie to bring marbles, and then we pretend to exchange these things among them. Yes, now Katie, give a marble to Cibele, and then yes, you pretend to do so. Yes, like this, you know? So this is how we can interact in the online world. Yes, with the parents' help and by using your imagination. Yes. Anything else, guys? I couldn't see the chat. There are too many things there.
Yeah. Oh, that was great, Dani. Is anybody
Thank you.
Something? No?
No questions?
Okay. So let's move on then.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dani. The next one to present is going to be Miriam Oliveira. She's one of the teachers I had the pleasure to meet online, being part of this great community, the same way as Dani. And Miriam's going to bring joy to our classes by creating visual resources to online classes. And Miriam holds a degree in language and pedagogy, and the living experience, she's been living the experience of teaching for she had the experience to live 7 years abroad in US, and she has been an English teacher for the past 11 years. And in the last 5 ones, she's been teaching young learners, which made her get involved in the early aged learning process, and tools to bring more dynamic and simple tools and enjoyment to her classes. So she's going to teach us what to do and how to bring joy to our classes. Miriam.
Hello. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. And let me start sharing my screen. And let's see here. I've brought, let me see here. So I'm teacher Miriam Oliveira. Yes, I'm a crafty girl, so I have to admit. So you are gonna maybe say, teacher, you are crazy. So yes, I am. I like to be creative to have my students involved in my class. So I've brought some creating visual resources to online classes. It's my focus is for you to have some ideas, and everything I'm gonna bring to you is involving my slogan, which is bring joy to your classes, because we have to just a simple brief comment about the joy and what's the joy in the kids' brain. And I have this comment that says every time kids experience joy, the pathways in their brains that are dedicated to feeling this positive emotion grow stronger. So this professor says something really interesting. He says, when kids experience joy of learning, Dani says something about it. You know, when they have this experiment, we see some benefits from positive learning experience. So we have them engaged, we have them involved in our classes. So I've decided to have, but when we work with these visual resources, our focus is to have students with this engagement, and we intend to have interaction, and of course we have the students actively encouragement, because nowadays we know that we have so many good technologies, so many good sites that we can use, but I like to have them looking at me. As Katie says, we have to use our money maker. She says something like that, right? So use your face. When you use your face, we interact with some items in your hand. So I really like. Why do we use visual resources in teaching? We use because in the classroom we use to encourage students' learning process. This is really good because they have that image in their mind, and then when they look at the apple, the picture of the apple, I don't have to say maçã. I'm not used to translate, even for my young learners, students, the preschool students. I just have the visual. I'm gonna share something with you here. And visual resources, they are also tools that help to make an issue or lesson clearer or easier to understand and know the topic, because when they have the vision, so you don't have to explain in words, especially for the young learners. So when we talk about creativity, we are going to use some, this is my living room floor nowadays. This is my very first item that I've kept with me for about 11 years. 11 years now. I think I've had this crab head for about 15 years because I have only one girl. She's 15 now, and I bought this when she was 1 or 2 years old. So I've kept this, and nowadays, when I'm bringing some topic talking about sea animals, oh my God, my students get crazy with my crab head. Of course, if you don't have a crab head like mine, you can create something, or maybe you can buy another one. I have, for example, here, one glasses that I've bought in Mercado Livre. So look at my lion hat. So actually my hair contribute to be a lion. So when I start the classes wearing this glass, they go like, oh, look, a lion. Sometimes they go, un leão. And then I go, it's a lion. Let's pretend to be a lion. So they go crazy and I go crazy too. So actually I have another one. I have this lion and I have a cow glasses too, but I don't like to ask them, okay, who am I? Who am I? They're gonna say a cow. So I don't think this is funny. So I prefer to keep my lion head. So I'm just kidding. And here, I'm gonna give you some suggestions. I'm gonna just list them now, and later I'm gonna show it some examples that I have here. So the background is very important. I used to have my background with filling faces. Here I have my circles because tomorrow I'm gonna work with colors. So I'm gonna grab a circle and ask them to run around, not to run around, maybe to grab in their pencil case one pencil color, the color I show it to them. So I like to have my background. If you use Zoom, you can change your background. As I can see some teachers here are using it according to your topic. It's a good idea. Exploring flashcards. Sometimes I printed out some materials. If you work with some editors, they send us some flashcards. But if you don't have, you know, what you need, you have to print them out. I like to exploring videos, short videos. I used to play maybe one video in my 30 minutes class, one video of 2 minutes, and then we dance, and then I explore, and then I go through to another activity. I used to have slides. I like to prepare some puzzle in the PowerPoint presentation in order to present a picture. Of course, realia, it's always good because if you are talking about food, what about bringing some fruits and show them an apple, as Dani says, you know, you use your creativity. And then when you show an apple, you ask them, in your house, do you have any fruit in your house? So I give you a minute, ask mommy to help you. Of course, previously you send the family dad a note to family telling them that you are going to need to ask for some fruit. Otherwise, if they don't have what you ask in the class, they are going to be crying. So you have trouble. The mystery box or mystery bag, it's always a treasure. So we need to prepare because you make that magic around. I like that. Of course, crafts, as I told you in the beginning. If you don't know how to do it, you can maybe watch some tutorial in YouTube channels and you learn. And of course, explore the story time, exploring books, it's always a must. So here, I'm gonna share with you some ideas that I love doing it. For example, if I have a flashcard, after exploring the flashcard, and then I bring the text card, and then see here in this picture, I have the 3 moments of my class. First of all, I've worked with flashcards. The next class, I've brought the flashcard with the text, and then I have them reading. First grade and second grade students, they have to be exposed to the words already. So I bring the words, and after that we can make a craft. And of course, that I used to say, some teachers called me a mulher das plaquinhas, because I like to have them here when they do a good job. Okay, very good. And some of them are doing right now, very good, teacher. They are copying my sign. So especially for preschool students, they love to be praised, right? So, and then when they go right, and then I go like, oh, very good. And of course, if I have to bring some function or to have them answer me some questions, for example, have you got a bike? And then I show it to them, I give them some help. Yes, I have. Or maybe, no, I haven't. So look, very simple. I use the cardboard, the popsicle stick, and I have my sign on. So done. So this is really good. Feelings, sticks, it's always, I have to use, you know, to greet my students. Another visual I have here, of course, if I am working with, for example, to present body parts. Oh my God, I need something else other than pointing. Of course, I have this, you know, crazy big eye. Let me see your eyes. And then I go close to the camera and ask them to show me their big eyes. And I've made another one. Okay, let me see your mouth. Big mouth. But of course, I try to make different and silly, you know, items. So I have here a different mouth, and then they go like this. They try to copy what I have here, and then I go like, okay, let me see your mouth. Oh my God, let me see your mouth. They are going to be, you know, trying to copy you in order to practice, and then I ask them to point. I ask them to, you know. Let me see your tongue. And then when everybody show me their tongues, I go like, tá mostrando a língua? Oh my God, don't do that. They go, and then I've done this last class. One student told me, teacher, you asked me to do so. You asked me, because he thought that I was angry. So I like, you know, playing with this, and then of course working with the function. And I love working with Bitmoji. So I've made some with, oh no, what did you do? Oh my God. And then I put in front of the cameras, look, I have my signs here, and maybe, okay, yes or no, with my Bitmoji, and this is me. And then I ask them, okay, do I look like this picture? And they say no or yes, and we make fun of it. And the bye-bye sign too. The other thing I found in this online environment, sometimes I like, of course, we have the iTools program. I can share my screen, but sometimes I don't feel like using only the screen to share, because if they are watching my class using the cell phone, it's not going to be good to have my face and the book on the screen. So what do? I've printed some pictures out, the main element from my page, I print that out. So for example, here I have a book. This is a wordless book, and then I had this story. So for me, it was too small. I didn't have a big flashcard. What did I do? I've just, you know, made myself this beautiful chicken. So a chicken and this crocodile, I took out of the book the main element, and they went like, oh teacher, this crocodile is quite different of that crocodile. So, and then we play around this. Even the chicken, they go like, oh, your chicken seems to be crazy or scared. So I always have an intention behind this, because at this point I had to work with the body similarities. Chickens have wings. Crocodiles haven't got wings. So it's a difficult function for a child, right? So too formal for me. And then crafts. Oh my God, toilet paper roll. I usually collect, you know, when we work with kids, we collect, you know, card boxes, you know, toilet roll. Who doesn't? So raise your hand if you don't. And then we can mix animals. You can have a toilet roll to make the item to have the story time, you know, the 3 little pigs. And actually, I've made this silly rabbit. Look at this silly rabbit with the paper towel. So the kids got crazy with this. So they have this experience at home. It's a simple item that I know, of course, I need to ask them in advance, right? Otherwise, they can't, or not just, okay, now, can you get a toilet roll now? It's not possible. The other thing is paper crafts. You know, origami is that I love doing origami with them, even folding and making. Oh, Danny has brought something. It's a ladybug, yes? And then let's see. That's nice, Dani. So when you work with kids, you need to provide this for you and for your class in order to be, okay, boom, very good. So for example, I've made this bookmark, and then after that, I've just put a popsicle stick, and now I have another a visual to work with. You know that we have 5 little something jumping on the bed, 5 little penguin, cat, everything jumping on the bed, right? So I was supposed to work a penguin song, and then I've made this bookmark, and then now I have this, and then I have 5, and then they jumping on the bed, and the kids go crazy, and next class they were coloring a paper in the black color, and then show me a penguin. So I like that. And of course, if you like, you know, doing something, you can maybe make some finger puppet, which I like. Look at this frog. I've made this with only hot glue, and since I'm going to have the story moment, I've made a wolf with my, look at my hand puppet made of felt and just hot glue around. So I've watched a tutorial in YouTube, and then it's good. So mystery box, you can have the items, a surprise envelope to bring the words. And of course, if you have some small boxes, cardboard boxes, you can make a dice to play with the kids. And exploring the story, I am running out of time. So just to finish, if you want to prepare some visuals to work with the story, for example, I've made a project to work with ABC, and then I have my ABC can, I have the letters in the popsicle sticks, and this is me having fun with my green hat, and I know how to make some balloon structure too. Kids love when you do in front of them, so they go like, oh, you know how to do it. And then it's not about what you do, it's about how you do. When you bring joy to your classes, you have creative, creativity is intelligent, having fun, and you have fun too. So this is my message. Keep it simple and bring joy to your classes. I hope to be able to, we have some reference in the ebook, so I've just put here to have this, you know, my context. So that's it. My point is to bring, you know, the creativity to involve the kids here, even in this online environment. Okay?
Oh, that's a lot, girl.
I'm sorry. I would like to share so many things. So you are going to have this on the ebook. So this is a good idea, Laíze, that you have this material going home so they can, you know, make some.
I said that it's a lot because it's awesome, because you have brought so many information, so much information for us. And just a heads up for everybody who's watching us, Miriam has a workshop, a big workshop on that. She and Tati as well, three of them have been giving workshop all around this online environment. So if you guys have any doubts, please do talk to them, because they have some new workshops in line to offer. And as Miriam also said, some of the information these girls have been sharing here are going to be compiled in an ebook and sent to everyone who register in this form I'm sending here in the chat. So please, if you want the material, if you want the certificate, please do enroll. I'm going to paste again in the chat area the link for the attendance. It's not about the enrollment, it's the attendance, because some people who enrolled are not here, so I'm not going to send it to everyone, just for those who are watching and sharing with us now, okay? So guys, yes, we still have 3 people to talk, and this time it's going to be Priscilla. Pris, where are you, girl?
Hello guys, hey, I'm here. Can you hear me well?
Oh, sorry, please.
Can you hear me well?
Very good, very well.
Okay.
So Priscilla's goal, her topic is culture and diversity in teen online classes. I can't pronounce her last name correctly. She's going to help us with that. But she has been teaching English since 2011. She studied social science at Universidade Federal de Santa Catarina, and she is an alumni of Rotary's Youth Exchange Program in I Aspire. Is that correct, Pris?
Yes, that's it. I Aspire as a college program, yeah.
Program in US. She has worked with a variety of ages and proficiency levels, but her passion lies in teaching teenagers and adults, both in classroom and the online environment. So please, do your magic.
All right, thank you, Laíze. Thank you so much for having me. I will share my screen and my presentation so we can start.
Say your name, girl.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so my name is Priscilla Malkiewiez, okay? So yeah, like Laíze said, I'm going to be talking about culture and diversity in teen online classes, okay? Just to, be clear, the things that I say, doesn't have to apply only to teens or only to online classes. I feel like this, there are tips here that you guys can, take to 3D classes or some things even to young learners and adults, of course. But I decided to focus on teen because that's basically where my passion lies. Can you see the presentation? Is looking all right? Yeah. Okay. Good. So I'm first going to start talking a little bit about.
Pri, in your presentation, we can see all of the PowerPoints.
Oh,
can
okay.
You share? Now
yes. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Cibele. So I'm going to start a little bit about asking you guys and making you think a little bit, consider what is culture. Okay. So like Laíze read, I come from a social sciences background, so like anthropology, sociology, but we have I won't say standards, but we have, our definitions of what culture is. But, it's an ever-changing topic, an ever-changing definition. I'm going to put, quotation marks, general definition of anthropology stands for Edward Tyler, a long, long time ago, okay, like the beginning of the anthropological study, defined culture as the shared set of values, ideas, concepts, and rules of behavior that allow a social group to function and perpetuate themselves. Okay, so this was, right at the beginning of anthropology as a field of study. It has changed, of course. The concept has evolved throughout the 20th century. It's still subject to a lot of debate if having a definition, a concept of what culture is still relevant. It's a big debate in the anthropological, sociological field in general. But I really like Ruth Benedict's definition. She was a brilliant cultural anthropologist, American cultural anthropologist. And she wrote a very famous book where she defined that a culture, like an individual, is a more or less consistent pattern of thought and action. Okay, so I really like this definition because she brought the idea of the individual, and she didn't set things in stone. It's like it's more or less consistent pattern. So there is room for change there, for debate, and for conversation and dialogue about what is culture. So I really admire her in her work and her definition of culture. So we are, most of us who are here, we are language teachers, we are English teachers, right? So how do you feel about the way language is connected to culture? Are we teaching not only a language, are we teaching culture as well? So let you guys sit a little bit with that thought. I will check the chat very quickly to see if people. Yeah, some people are like, oh, thank goodness culture is changing. Yes. Thank you. So yeah, absolutely. Culture, language is part of culture. Language is culture. And we are definitely ambassadors of not only a language, not only a way of communicating, pattern of communication, which is English, but also of, you know, the cultural and social values that come with it. So that is, you know, our belief. Next slide. So guys, what have we got here? I put, there is a list of countries. Yes, I think it's very easily identifiable as countries. Bahamas, Barbados, Cameroon, Cayman Islands, Fiji, Ghana, Gibraltar, Jamaica, Kenya, Malta, Namibia, Nigeria, Papua New Guinea, Philippines, Singapore, South Africa, Uganda, Zimbabwe. So what do all these nations have in common? What do you think? Any idea of why I have like this list of names right here for you? Speak English, they're colonized, very interesting words coming out, yes. Primarily British. Yes, so all these countries, English is an official language, either an official language, you know, or it's, you know, the academic language, you know, of the higher education. So these countries, people are what we can consider native speakers of English. You know, it is, you know, a native language of their country. So, of course, there are many other countries who are not here. I mean, I left out, I mean, the traditional ones for a reason that I'm going to explain a little bit right now. Oh my God, sorry guys. So, if native speakers of English might look like these images that I have here, okay? So there's, you know, images of people. There's Albert Hammond. I don't know, maybe somebody who's a little older might recognize. The second picture is a Gibraltar singer. His name is Albert Hammond. He sings a very famous song. He was like from the 70s, very famous, but he sings very well. At the bottom, right in the middle, we have a group of people wearing traditional costumes of Malta. Okay, so, you know, Jamaica, there's many different nationalities represented right here. So if native speakers of English might look like this, why does it seem to me that the representations that we have in our books and in videos and, you know, basically every cultural demonstration out there, why do they always seem to be represented like this? At least this is, you know, what I see. These, not only the appearance or the way that they are showing to have fun or to be, you know, dressed and everything, but this is the usual representations that we have from native English speakers. I think actually the parenthesis, I'm sorry, the third picture, you know, the group of young people sitting in the stairs, I feel like this was in a, you know, one of those paintings, you know, boards that they always have in English schools, like of people. I feel like I have, when I look at this picture, it just rung, you know, like, it just rung a bell in my head, and there was like a memory. I think I had a picture of these, you know, people when I was an English student, you know, a while ago. So yeah, these are the usual representations of what English native speakers are. And yes, somebody mentioned colonization in the chat, and this sort of representation, it really contributes to what I'm going to call the colonization of our gaze, you know, of the way that we observe and understand what people who speak English are. And let me ask you guys a question. Do you feel like your students, or, you know, the students, people who study English as a second language, whether online or in the school that you teach, do you feel like they look like more the people, or they might identify more with the people in the first slide, this slide, or they might identify more with the people in the second slide. You know, Cibele has a question, or no? I just want to say, yeah, with who you identify. With who identify. This is also important. Like, who do we as teachers identify with? You know, like, do we? I mean, when I was studying English, you know, and when I was becoming an English teacher, I certainly did identify with the 6 protagonists of Friends. I mean, none of them didn't look like me. Nothing against Friends, okay? If you like the program, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with liking mainstream representation of what English speakers are, because let's face it, that's what's more available to us. That's what we have easy access to. So in order to change this scenario, in order to change this paradigm that we have in our education and our representation of native speakers, there are some thought processes that we have to go through. And here I have brought some suggestions, okay, and some tips that I have incorporated in my teaching, both in my presential classes and my online classes, that I felt were very successful and that I would like to share with you. So, oops, there was a typo there, guys, I'm so sorry. How do we bring cultural diversity to an online class? Well, the first step is that you've got to really care about it and educate yourself. It's something that is going to require, you know, a little bit more effort, maybe in your planning or in your thought process, you know, when you are thinking about what materials to bring to class and to show in class. But I guarantee that it's really, really worth it. And that's not to say, and I want to make myself very clear about it, that you shouldn't or you can't, or that it's wrong of you to bring materials that show, you know, traditional views and portraits of what a native speaker is. That's not it. You know, it's not like, oh, you know, I'm not going to show, you know, North American people ever again, you know, Canadians or British and stuff like that. It's not it, okay? It's just when we set an example of what a native English speaker is, and we change the self-esteem and we change the view of what how our students see themselves as English speakers and English learners. So how do we do that? We seek out cultural material outside of common familiar places. Think about the infinite possibilities to showcase, you know, a culture that isn't a cliche, you know, in the ESL universe. A second step, especially like for teachers who make their own material, you know, whether it's slides or, you know, just like Miriam was showing, you know, like different puppets and finger puppets, and anything, any material that you do, when creating any pedagogical material and bringing it to your classes, look for, you know, images, give suggestions of image banks that feature more diverse group of people. So here I brought like some examples of more diverse image banks. Most of them are free image banks, okay, where you guys can get images without paying for it. There's snappy.co, which is really good at featuring Black people, brown people, POC stock. You know, POC stands for person of color, you know, so anybody who is Black or Hispanic, Latinx, Native American, Asian, Middle Eastern. So it's really interesting a way you can get different images that are not maybe the first ones to show like in a standard image bank or, you know, Google search. So I feel like this is something, you know, that we can consider. There's another one, you know, Pic Noi. This one, I feel like it has like the most beautiful images of people of color. It really is very, very nice image bank, very diverse. So this, you know, is like one of the steps. Step 3, you know, show our students how native English speakers also have a diversity of accents, you know, and by diversity of accents, I don't mean just, you know, oh, everybody gets this question, how do you, every teacher in, who is teaching English ever has been asked this question by a parent or whatever, do you speak American English or British English? I mean, who hasn't, right, been asked that? And well, no, I speak English, you know, I'm Brazilian, so I speak English with a Brazilian accent. So seek out, you know, YouTube, Vimeo, national libraries. I know that when we say, oh, libraries, we have this view, oh, you know, that building with the old librarian lady who is there, you know, like the books are all dusty and stuff. But no, like libraries nowadays, I mean, we are educators, we know that, right? Library archives have amazing websites, you know, full of resources and materials that might help us. Here I put like just 2 examples of sources that I really like. I love 60-second docs on YouTube. It's a great source of short videos, features very interesting topics and, you know, subjects, you know, people from all over the world. We hear, you know, different accents. It's a great and it's very short, you know, like it's 60 seconds, and it generates a lot of discussion with the students. I really like. There is Library Technology. This website is very useful to search libraries around the world and, you know, what resources you can find in their website. So it's something that I really, really enjoy looking into. I shared like just two, you know, because of our timing, yes, to present 2 of my favorite e-libraries. I love Smithsonian. Yes, I know it's North American, but I particularly love their National Museum of the American Indian, Native American, yes. And I feel like there is a huge room for discussion, even when you are going to bring resources that are, you know, come from traditional or popular English-speaking countries. Always remind our students and generate these discussion that, well, if they are Brazilian or if they are, you know, like Tati has some students from other South American countries, that we are all American, you know, like we belong to American continent, you know, we were colonized, there were people here before the Europeans came. And it's great for project-based learning, you know, to use library resources. And it's great to have a representation for these native peoples, you know, like not only of the United States, but Canada. I did a project in the beginning of the semester, you know, using the native people of New Zealand, so the Maoris. So there's great resources. I did this project with my students, and I fell in love, you know, with Maori culture. And it's brilliant what the National Library has in terms of videos and what the National Library of New Zealand has. So this is just, you know, like 2 suggestions. You guys have, you know, a lot of resources online. And so this is my contribution. I hope that when you guys are planning your online classes or your 3D classes, it's really like some food for thought. I'm sure that many of you have already been to, you know, this journey of this process of, you know, trying to seek things outside of the comfort zone of what English might be or represent to our students and to us as teachers. But this is just my little pearls, little droplets, okay? So are there any questions? I know that the chat, there's like many things going on in the chat, like maybe discussion or questions, but you can, this is where you can find me, guys. My email, you know, like to follow me, and also, let me check here the chat. What do we have?
People actually wanted to comment on your topic. I love and it's related to mine, which is going to be the last one. But yes, I saw many comments from Walter and from Tabitha, from Kathy. So guys, if you want to open your mic, please do, and connect now.
First of all, I love your talk so much. It was amazing. You found a way to put very clear what I have been thinking for a long while.
Wow,
amazing.
So
I love it so much, so much, so much. Something that I've been advocating for a while, to have a non-racist, decolonial, and a diverse language teaching that doesn't explore racism as a way of profiting. Love it so much. Wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I was actually a little, not nervous, but because, you know, I mean, I am, of course, Brazilian, so therefore I am Latina. You know, when I lived in the United States, I was part of the Latino community, but I was feeling very self-conscious that, okay, like we have amazing, you know, like Black women in this group who are going to present how would they feel, you know, like about me presenting this as a person, a non-Black woman. But I was having this thought, you know, like some minutes before my presentation, that, okay, what if there is a class and, you know, I am, you know, in Brazil, you know, I go and I get by as a white woman, you know, Caucasian woman. And I have a group, as I do here, you know, I'm from Florianópolis, you know, south of Brazil, Santa Catarina, the whitest state in our country. And then I only have, you know, white students. So that means, okay, I will never talk about this because I don't have, you know, this, what we say, you know, lugar de fala. I will never discuss, you know, like racism with my students because I'm white and they are white. So it really is a thought, you know, that crosses my head, but it's like, no, you know, I have to talk about it. I have a duty as educator to be an ally.
Oh, Pri,
for sure.
Can you guys hear me? Sorry.
Yes, yes.
I just wanted to, Pri, I just wanted to add up that this was amazing. I really like it because, as Walter said, and I've been advocating for, you know, to bring this cultural different elements to the kids' classes, okay, and online lessons. Since I've been teaching internationals and now more and more South American students, I am bringing everything, like from, it started with, you know, pictures, you know, and kids were like impressed, shocked a little bit, but they liked it. And we have to, if nobody was talking about this, we have to start doing this. And your presentation was amazing, and it has given me and all the participants so such like new ideas and a little bit of more motivation, you know, that that we are together in this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tati. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, please feel free. I don't know if there's any other questions.
We needed to go on with the program.
Yes, of course.
I think that this is a topic that needs and have to be more explored, and there should be, you know, a whole session about this representativeness, you know, variation, racism, and all of this. And I'm very passionate about this topic. Well, being a Black woman, I have to be.
Yeah.
And okay, and the next one to present.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, please. It was beautiful, wonderful. Thank you very much. The next person here in line is Tati Casoria. Tati, where are you, girl? I cannot see you. Is Tati in the house? Please open your mic and show your face. Where is she? Ooh. Yeah, I can see you, but your mic is mute. And now she's, oh, Tati, unmute your mic, girl. I'm asking.
You say me?
Oh, now yes, now we can.
Am I bouncing? Am I bouncing here? Because you are. Is it me or yours?
Probably me, because I bounce around. Okay.
All right. Can you listen to me, guys?
First, let me introduce yourself, girl.
Yay!
Tati is the only one here who is going to present a different language. She's a polyglot. She speaks English, German, Italian, and what else? I don't know. But anyways, she's going to show us the technique she has developed, 12 minutes Italian. She's graduated in English language and literature by the University of Bras Cubas. Tati also is graduated by the same university where she holds a BA in Business Administration and German language and literature as well by USP. She's also a simultaneous translator by alumni. She's a teacher, trainer, and coach for English teachers and has been in AELT for over 40 years. Member of Brass Teasel and Minder for 10 years, always involved in young learners, tweens, teens, and adults formation. She's the idealizer of this technique and the project Minuti di Italiano. Tati, italianissima, show us your magic.
Ciao gente, buona domenica a tutti. Where is everybody? I just see some black spots. I want to see everybody's face so that I feel more welcome, okay? I will not present this in Italian because I know you want. I could do it because it's 12 minutes that I have. But I prefer to present it in English. Tell me if my internet bounces because just now I'm having problems, okay? So you put thumbs down if you don't see me or listen to me well, okay? Anyways, I'm Tati Casoria. I am the owner of Tati Teach, and I have been teaching English and Italian for more years than I want to remember. And and that reminds me to tell you that things have changed. And even though I am from another time, another generation of teachers, I have learned in all the methods that my colleague has said before, it's time for a change. It's time to change what we have been doing because of the pandemic. Everything will change and it's going to be forever, right? Are you listening to me, Laíze? You're making face like I'm not.
Oh, I am. I'm paying attention.
Everybody got so silent suddenly that I got scared. Okay, so because of this, I've studied a little bit here and there, and I saw what was going on in the internet. There's lots of methodologies that they claim is their own. I'm not claiming Minuti di Italiano is my own methodology. The project and the way to do it is, right? So it can be applied to any language, not only to Italian, right? Could be English in 12 minutes, why not? And now the mouse doesn't go. Isn't that perfect? It will go. Guys, these little boxes are how nowadays we live. We live in a hectic city, lots of people doing lots of different things. They don't have time to eat, so they eat in between. They have some class and then they don't pay attention to the class because they left things to do in the business, or they're too tired after their classes, after their day of work, or in the early morning when they just arrived and grab a cup of coffee. So this is why I thought that 12 minutes would be it. But why 12? Because it's not 10. Because 12 times 5 makes 1 hour. And then the student can never claim that he never had his 1 hour in the week, right? So 12 minutes a day times 5 days a week is enough. No, it's not enough. We have to teach a lot more than that. We need to teach all the time. It's every day. It's little bits of Italian every day. Every time that I think about something interesting or something happened on the planet, I go there and I tease the students. I tease them through their group in WhatsApp. I tell the groups of Minuti d'Italiano, because I have more than one, to talk to one another. I get some leaders from the first group and I throw in the second group. And every day you have to tease these people because they need to be emerging in the language all the time. So it is different from a normal course. Why it is different? Because the immersion is natural. It's like a kid that it's exposed to the language, like every day there is something new and it's constant, right? And how do I do that? They have some tables that are sent to them almost daily. They have the Google Classroom where they can always review whatever they have seen during the class. They can watch that little film again. People have asked me already, but do you have time to pass a film? No, I don't have to pass the whole film. But we do have one class that has half an hour, which is the big class that I unite everybody together. Different levels, one helps the other, and then we do a film class, right? And also mini bits all the time. From time to time, I throw mini bits to them. And then you're gonna tell me, not possible to start from scratch, from nothing, and go to a fluency of a B2 in 3 months, having only 12 minutes a day of exposure to the class. Yes, you can. This is here one of my students. I did not ask her to do that. It was part of the task that I sent to the students, and she doesn't even know that she's in here, because this is what happens after some time of practicing every day. Tell me if you can listen to it. Oh, it just went away. How cool. Come back here. It was so beautifully done. Ah, now it goes.
Ciao a tutti, mi chiamo Fabiola, sono di São Paulo, però adesso vivo in Santos. Sono medica e non ho molto tempo libero, quindi il corso Minuti di Italiano è perfetto per me. In quasi 2 mesi ho imparato molto, è un corso molto veloce, dinamico e troppo interessante.
So this was here shared by her. Moment.
Ciao a tutti,
here
mi chiamo
screaming at me. Okay, there we go. So how does it work from 0 ground to a B2 in 3 months? Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, you listen to Italian. And then you have to talk to your peers, and then you have to talk to me, and then you send a video, and then you send an audio. And therefore you are acquiring more and more vocabulary and sentences. In 3 months, it is possible to hold a free conversation. And then what do? We send clues and tips and information, and we have classes every day. We don't have classes on Sundays, but I am sure to always send some material. We talk in Telegram, and also the Telegram is open for all kinds of students or teachers, whoever wants to enter, not only the students, it's not closed. So they have the opportunity to talk to other people, and yes, we can cook in Italian. We do it together, but I already have all the material done and we do it together. So even cooking you can do in 12-minute time, right? So it is very fast. It is like a crashy course because life goes on. Lots of people want to go to Italy right now because of their citizenship. Not right now because of the virus, but in this moment. So I think this can be applied to English, French, so many languages, all the languages that are more used in the planet. And this is my 12 minuti of Italian. I hope you've liked it. And you can find me in my addresses here, Instagram. Telegram is Minuti di Italiano, so you can find me there as well. And I'm going to be glad to answer any questions you might have. I'm not listening to anybody. Don't leave me alone.
Hey, Tati, I can say something. I have a comment.
Of course you can. Of course you can, baby.
Okay.
Shoot, Tata.
Yeah, so I love this idea of the 12 minutes. I do a similar thing. So I have a normal class, well, what's normal, but twice a week, an hour with my students. But I tell them they can't just learn this in the classroom. They have to have, I tell them 10 minutes a day in their own lives. And so I say, read a book, watch a movie, do something, just 10 minutes each day to help them immerse, you know, because it's so hard that they don't have anybody to talk English to. So, but I love this concept. They have to have it every
if you
single
tease
day.
them in the groups, if you tease them in WhatsApp, in Telegram, they are absolutely teased by all the ways, you know, they have to watch a YouTube, they have to tell me what they saw, they have to listen to music. So it's so much that they get used to it. So
Exactly.
Afterwards, you don't need to ask them anymore. They simply do it.
Yeah, we share recipes. I'm a horrible cook, but I'm very good at giving recipes.
I didn't see the chat.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. I didn't see the chat at all. I don't know if there are some questions or not. Can somebody give me a hand here if there are questions, because I didn't read anything?
I have a question, Tati.
Tell me, babes.
Tati, how do you work with grammar in this 12 minutes? Is grammar taught or is...
Of course it is. Okay, in the first weeks, we call it like emergency class because they don't know anything. So you cannot teach grammar to a 5-year-old kid. So I assume that first we talk, then after we read, then after we write and go grammar. But it is so absorbed, the talking, that they start to know the structure. And then after I present the grammar. Also, the grammar is not, let's sit down and make 10,000 exercises. First, they have to understand grammar. And then I present grammar. And then we do exercises. And then they're told to do so too. But I am assuming that all of them will be adults. So I will not give homework to an adult. The homework is the everyday effort he does to participate in the whole thing. And they feel so praised because one congratulates the other for the job that they're doing. It's so cool. It really works. It really works. In the beginning, I thought, no, I cannot do this so fast, but it is. They get involved. Guys, you just gain their confidence, and they will do it by themselves. You can do it with any language. No tests. I don't give tests. I don't give homework. I don't think that in the times of today, we will have time or we will enjoy that.
I have students, they like to do homework because they're traditional. They want to do things. So I've started using Kami, K-A-M-I, you know? So, so I've been learning how to do that.
Someone has the mic on.
Yeah, I thought they were talking to me. That's confusing. But yeah, so that's another thing that's really hard is when you want to have this free class with no homework, no tests, and then you have those traditional students begging. How do you deal with that?
They don't beg me for homework, but they do homework willingly. Just now, it's Sunday, right, guys? And just a little bit before I started, my phone starts bzz, bzz, bzz. It was a student, she wanted to know how to say mollo inglese in Italian because she was cooking and she wanted to know. So they get curious, and curiosity arouses the knowledge because then they will go search. And if they don't find exactly what they think it is, they will ask me. And I always say, throw in a group because the group needs to get to know. It's not only directly to me, it's to everybody. And I make them call one another. And also, it is very important that you know your students, who they are in the beginning of the classes, and what they like, and what is their profession, because you have to work on interest. I put something down in the YouTube where I explain with Play-Doh and little toys the structure of a room, because they are architects and they needed to know the window is near to this or that, and they needed to know the space, and I didn't have tools, and I thought, I'm gonna use Realia. And then I did this in Italian, and I explained to architects with little miniature toys about it, because we had read something that was called The Room of Luigi, where he describes the room with a lot of details. And so I gained their attention. So you need to know who your students are and do what pleases them. Anybody else?
Well, I guess this is it. Well, guys, please do contact Tati. I already said that she
Thanks, guys.
A workshop with many different information for many different languages, and we can always adapt her tips and ideas to English. If you also teach English, I guess most of all teach English, right? What's that?
Just that people know, because not everybody knows me. I teach little kids, twins, teenagers that I love, adults, older people. I teach everybody. This is a part of my work. It's not just what I do. So it's just to show you that teachers need to be flexible, and we need to go with the flow of what is happening in the moment. Right?
Absolutely. Okay, and now we approach to the last presentation with me, myself, and Elzinha. Yeah. And my presentation is aligned with what Pris has presented. It's similar, so let me just put up here my slides. Can you guys see? Tell me, please.
No.
Oops. Okay, so how about now?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. So you guys already know my name. I was born being called Laíze Lemos, and I'm from Salvador, Bahia. I've been teaching English for over 20 years now. I've started English, not professionally. I guess many people start like this, you know, because you like the language, and then you start teaching a friend and family members. And my first graduation in tourism, I've worked in the field for some time, and always combined with teaching English. And then when I started teaching adults, only adults, and business English, I felt the need to, you know, go further in the knowledge and take a degree, and I have a specialization in linguistics applied to English teaching, and then I got the degree in Letras. And with time, I embarked. I used to embark to teaching platforms English to people with zero negative English and people who barely could sign their names. And I was the type of person that would learn methodology from the institution I was working for and apply it to the core, you know, precisely. Every comma they would teach me, I would use it. I wouldn't use Portuguese. And in this platform that I worked, there were 27 different nationalities. And there were different kind of Englishes, not only native speakers per se, but also people that would use English as a tool, as a means of communication, because it was their survival. They had to understand what people was talking about, was the instructions they were receiving, especially the main floor, you know, people that had to go outside of the rigs and platforms to fix things, because it was a matter of life or death, understand what people was saying. And then I realized that English is not just a language, it's a tool. But the topic of my conversation goes, as I said, goes along with what Priscilla said. And I would like to first show you what I'm going to talk about, which is the striking facts of exclusion. I'm talking about inclusion, but what we mostly have is exclusion, especially when in terms of speaking English, multilingualism, and the ownership of English by non-native speakers. Okay, so starting with the striking facts of exclusion. I have felt these teaching English when I started to teach, and there were many foreigners working with me, and some of them were better paid. They had higher salaries. They would make more money per hour than I would, just because I was not a native speaker. And some of them didn't even had any degree, 0 degree, you know, barely high school. But just because they were native speakers, it was assumed that they were better than me. So it's an exclusion factor. And many of our students face the same things because they have education denied just because they don't have the language. And these exams, these tests that are applied by Oxford and Cambridge, you know, those IELTS and TOEFLs, yeah, unfortunately, they're a mafia, and it's also a social tool of exclusion, because if you don't have the minimum points to study or to go through an education in a university like that, you will be denied the right, although you have the technical knowledge to be there and contribute to science, you know, and contribute to the popularization of the scientific knowledge. So imagine if Einstein had to go through these tests when he went to US in the Second World War. Much of the things we know nowadays would be jeopardized because he didn't have passed in the test. So this is one of the things that some scientists, they have been fighting, some linguistics have been bringing up to conscious, because this is a tool to exclude people, and especially people like me, a black person. Most of us don't have this chance to education, even less to higher education. And most of the programs, the master degrees and PhD degrees, people need another language. But nowadays, not only English is necessary, but other languages as Italian, German, French. People need to know these other languages to have a scholarship, to have access to a scholarship. So if they don't have English, which is the most popular, imagine the other languages. So these are some of the striking facts of the exclusion of the language that we be going through, because it's a tool of decolonization. Because most people, when I say that I teach English, most people ask me, what kind of English do you teach, British or American? And this is an aspect and a trait of the speakerism that favor only native speakers. And it's also a way to keep the power in the hands of the colonizers. And as Priscilla said, there is this, I took note here, the colonization of the gaze. Yes, it's a fact, and it's structural. And we needed to be aware of that in order to not be reproducing this in our classes. Because it's true that most of these facts that I'm mentioning here does not affect most of the people that are watching me now, because most of you are white. And to tell you the truth, I haven't faced many of these things as well, because I've always studied in private institution. You know, I have never faced most of the things that my brothers and sisters, Black brothers and sisters face. but I have faced a structural racism, and these I can say because in many places that I've worked, I was the only Black person working there, and most of the time I was the only coordinator. I worked as a coordinator from different, flags here in Brazil for more than 12 years, and I was the only one. So many people does not ask that. So why is that? And we need to ask ourselves that and help fight it, to see more diversity in the material we select, as Priscilla has mentioned and beautifully explained and suggested many tools. Some of them I had never seen. Thank you very much, Pris, for that. I'm definitely going to use that. And some of our students, they also face, actually most, because in my case, I'm dealing with adults, we have something that we call affective filter. And when they come, they have their affective filter.
Tati?
Yay.
Yeah.
Mute your microphone.
I'm killing my thing here.
Yeah, because I have to stop presenting in order to see that. I guess the person has muted.
Okay, done.
Yes? Oh, thank you. Okay. And so, yeah, so this is the idea, guys. These are some of the sad facts, especially in those countries which receive people, expatriates, and oh my goodness, I forgot even the name in Portuguese, refugees. They are considered different because they do not speak the language, so they are not part of the pattern, and it's much more difficult for these people to adjust into a society that does not welcome them. So this is serious business. And here in Brazil, we have, especially here in the South, there are many Haitian people, there are many people from, especially Haiti. We see those people when they speak French, they speak English, and they also speak Portuguese with accent. And when we listen to accent, this sounds strange because we were trained to only accept American or British accent. So we needed to ask ourselves, what is the problem with that? Because multilingualism is part of a culture. It enriches the community because people come with their baggage, with their culture, and it only helps to strengthen diversity. And when we talk about English, which is the case I'm talking about, if it's not British or American, it's not part of the pattern, and people look at you differently. I had this student, she's also an educator, she's a PhD, and for you to see how this is so deep and socialized in people's mind and heart. And she said that when she was taking her PhD degree in Portugal, there was these Indian people that just said, oh, they don't speak English very well. And I looked at her, what are you talking about? English is their, first language. It's also their official language. They have many other languages there in India, but they were colonized by the British people and forced to speak English. Of course, they had to make some adjustments to the language to adapt to their first language, but they didn't ask for that. But it's also their official language, what you're talking about, just because they speak with accent. So when we are preparing our classes, we also need to expose our students to these different sounds of Englishes. And I love using TED Talks and many other videos and interviews on YouTube that you can find. Well, one of the attendees here is Walter. He is my business partner, and he's a master in finding these kind of videos to enrich and to expose our students to different sounds of English. Because a fact is that nowadays, for each native speaker, there are 4 non-native speakers using English as a social tool. So now the game has changed in our favor. you know, because it's not us that we need to understand the native speakers, but just the opposite. They need to understand the German person speaking English, a Brazilian like me speaking English, an Indian English, a Philippine English, Nigerian English, you know, all those types of Englishes that are the majority of the people that speaks English. Of course, that we are not going to make a mess, you know, of other people's language, but we needed to embrace our culture and our accent because it's not who I am. It tells people where I am from. And people can have just a little bit about me just because they hear my Brazilian accent. They know that I'm from Brazil and brings all the culture with me. And when I say that I speak Baiano English, and then it widens up the, you know, the veil of who I am and where I come from, things I value, you know, the way I was brought up. So that's why I encourage, especially as non-native English speakers, of teachers, you know, embrace your accent, because it took some time for me to embrace that. I lived in England, in London in 2006. It was my first time there, and I was trying so hard to imitate the way those people talk that it robbed me from great opportunities to getting to know different people, you know, to have different experiences, because I was ashamed of my accent. And because I was, at the time, pronouncing many words, you know, badly, incorrectly, it would get on the way of the communication. So this is what I tell people. If your pronunciation is getting in the way of the communication, if it's not intelligible enough, this we need to fix. But do not fix your accent, because it's beautiful. When I listen to Katherine Jara speaking English or speaking Portuguese, I know that she's a Spanish speaker, Chilean speaker, right? And I have a little idea who this person is, whether she comes from, things she would be, you know, inclined to like or talk about. So yes, please guys. And talking about this ownership of English, do not be ashamed. If you don't have a good pronunciation, please go after it. There are some of the people who are watching us now that they have courses on that. Well, I'm not sure if, no, I don't think that Simone is here, but there is Simone Martinhago, is someone with whom I worked with. She has a workshop on that, and there is Ali as well, which is also my business partner, if you guys are interested, or if any of you has a course like that that teach and help other English teachers, you know, to reach the level of proficiency they would like to have to become a C1 or C2 level of proficiency, or even, you know, open up your minds for phonetics, phonology, which is beautiful, makes a difference when you're speaking and when you're teaching your students, because it's true, you cannot teach what you do not know. So yes, please professionalize, you know, take courses in this area so that you can feel empowered and honor your accent and your culture, and help other people to see English as a means of, as an agent actually, to access different kind of contexts. Because when we teach people, we are helping them, we are enabling their entrance in another level, you know, of knowledge, because we know that English is the language of technology and business and science. So if people are deprived, are denied of these rights, we are losing material, intelligent material of other people that if it was not for English, they would never have access for these tools. And now I'm going to show you an example that I had last week with this handsome guy there that you can see is Silva. He's one of our students at Mind Idioms, and he has been studying with us for 6 or 7 months now. And I had made a post on my Instagram account talking about this culture and accent that I speak Baiano English. And like 4 months ago, we talked about it. And it's, you know, it stuck to his mind what I told him. I told him an experience I had in England, about my accent and things like this. And I helped him to get rid of this prejudice of trying to sound like a native speaker. And last class, there was this interview with Trevor Noah, talking about accent and culture. And then he wrote a text. If you guys can read, if is there anyone in the audience that could read that for me, please feel free. It would be awesome.
I can do it, La. Don't lose your accent, / learning accents, Trevor Noah. Before I started my study with Mind, I thought I should change my accent because every time I listen to people speak about Brazilian, Indian, Chinese accents, therefore I try to copy the American accent, unsuccessfully, of course. After I traveled to Canada and talked with people around the world, I learned more to accept my accent, and I saw Laíze's story on Instagram about this subject. The text was, English is an international language. Don't copy another accent. For example, I'm from Bahia. My English is from Bahia. These words changed me. I think after I accepted my Brazilian accent, my English has improved a lot. And I lost my fear to talk with natives and non-native people. And now I never try to change my accent to be accepted by other people.
Yeah, so it's powerful one because you are denying you from yourself, from your true colors. And this is serious because it's not just a matter, you know, of having a better job or having better salaries, but it's a matter of you accepting yourself for who you are. So this is a serious business. And with these guys, this is how I end here my presentation, encouraging you to thinking about this and get everything that Priscilla mentioned and the things I have mentioned here. And next time you plan your class, have this serious business in mind, okay? So, oops, this is it. And I would like to thank everybody, oh my goodness, to thank everybody and finish with this urgent, oh my God, can you see guys? Urgent message on your culture, be proud of your accent and take risks with language. This is something I tell to my students, you know, to have them in power and to be proud of themselves, their accent and from who they are. Thank you very much guys for watching us. It's a real pleasure to have everyone here and to meet different people and have the chance to, you know, to be part of your teaching experience. Thank you very much for sharing. These references are going to be sent to you in our ebook. And these are the ways you can reach me. Feel free to DM me, WhatsApp me, or email me. And to finish our presentation, everybody here, I would like to tell you why we decided to do this, you know, and I came across reading a book to this very interesting scientific experience of a scientist, let me check his name, Hugh Smith. He's a biologist, and in the early 30s, he went to the Philippines to study the biology and to study the mangrove. Mangrove is manguezal there. He was studying a specific type of living creature there. But he was, by the end of the day, he was cruising a river in a small boat, and suddenly he saw a tree from the mangrove flash once and then went down. And after a few seconds, it flashed twice and stopped again. After a few seconds more, all the trees across the river flashed together and went down. And he was amazed. And those were the fireflies. They were flashing together. And he was curious about that. And then he spent more time there in the Philippines, in the city, to study this phenomenon. And he found out that those were fireflies. And they were flashing together. It was the male fireflies. They were flashing together to attract the attention of the female fireflies. And they found out that when they flash together, they raise the chances to get attention for themselves, you know? So they were not afraid of competition because they knew that they did that together. The females would turn their attention and would see where they were, and then they would try to find their matches. So that's the objective of the online teachers, you know, to shine together and attract people's attention to us, because we are not afraid of competition. The internet online business teaching is huge, you know, and if we get together, if we unite as the Fireflies, we are going to raise our chances to attract all the professionals, people who need English, who need German, Italian, Spanish, to improve themselves personally and professionally. So that's the idea. We do not believe in competition. We believe in union, because when we unite, we are raising our chances and we are perfecting our practice as professional language teachers. We are helping each other. And when I help someone, I'm also learning, because I have to learn more, to study more in order to help another person. So this way, we make this online environment better, not only for me, but also for everybody who is working and striving with me. So thank you very much for uniting and gathering with us this afternoon, Sunday afternoon. Please join us in our WhatsApp group, on the Instagram. Let's keep in touch and help each other to shine. Let's all shine together, okay, guys? Thank you very much. And I see you guys around. We definitely are going to promote more events like this. Please open up your mics. Let's get together. We're going to have a happy hour now. There are some people.
Yay! Happy hour is the best.
Can I say something?
Hello, Miriam.
As a kinder, let's say, teacher, we are always teaching our kids to work in groups and constructivism, and let's work together. Let's learn how to work with your coleguinhas. So that's for us too, right? We have to be together in this. Guys, 2019 mindset, it's over. Before the pandemic's mindset, it's over, it's done. We need to go into, you know, a new mindset. This is it. Thank you so much, guys, for being here.
Bye.
Yeah, I learned so much from you. It's unbelievable. And I, like, very quickly, I just want to highlight the fact that, like, as women, you know, I feel like we are not stimulated as much to collaborate, you know, because we are, you know, brainwashed from a very early age to think, oh no, there is a space for just one. You know? Oh, the princess, the chosen one, or, you know, whatever reference, you know, you were given in your childhood and in your adolescent years. And I feel like today proves that only good things will come from praising each other, lifting each other up. And I'm so glad. I mean, I knew that already. I already had that in me, you know, but from other experiences. But today was one of those, you know, life-changing ones. So
sharing,
thank you.
Sharing, right? Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
Gracias.
And thanks everybody for being here on a Sunday.
Yes, afternoon. Wow, great turnout.
Everybody's hungry.
I already ate my lunch, girl. Here. I don't know if you saw me.
We saw it.
Thank everybody.
You know what? That was a good lesson for humanizing your lessons.
Yeah.
In front of your camera.
Thank you, guys.
I'm hungry.
Bye, guys.
I'm hungry.
We're gonna stay for happy hour, girls from United Teachers.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, I'm here.
I have to see what I have.
Anywhere.
I have to see what alcohol I have in the place.
Got some wine.
I have Chilean wine here.
Yeah, I'm sure I have some wine. I don't know if I have a tonic to make a tonic.
Is the only male person around here?
What?
Is he?
What?
He was. I saw.
No,
Walter was here too.
There was Walter. Who is Walter? I think he was trying to
He's Laíze's partner, his brother-in-law, her brother-in-law, and business partner.
Oh, okay. All right, because he was like, he asked me for my Instagram, but I think he had to leave. So, yeah.
Nadir's there. Nadir's still there, posing for us.
Yeah. Oh my God, guys, that was so great.
Ana Paula, hi, Isabel, thank you for sharing.
Nadir is eating something.
She's having popcorn.
Priscilla Jara has anything to do with Kathy?
No.
Jara with double R, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for all.
Priscilla is double R and Kathy is one R. It's Jara and Jara.
Nadir, Ana, thank you.
Hi, guys. Thank you very much for coming. Hope you enjoyed it.
Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed it. Isabel too. Bye-bye.
Oh, hello. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That's what
Bye-bye. See you.
Thank you, Ana.
Ana Costa. How beautiful.
Wow,
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for coming.
How do you say your name? Hello, Ana?
Yeah.
Ana.
Yeah.
It's different.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Very
it is. Thank you.
She's unique.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, girls.
Carla.
Almost there.
To grab my Where is Priscilla? Priscilla said that she
We
would.
lost someone. Where's, No, Priscilla's here.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4,
I think
5.
the other, I think they're saying other Priscilla Jara.
My husband is waiting for me for a coffee. Can you imagine? I told him, give me 4 more minutes, please. Give me 4 more minutes. And then I go.
Oh, Tati's already drinking something.
No, I'm drinking tea, guys. Oh, it's tea. See? Guys, it's tea. Look at this. Look at the tag. It's tea.
Cool. I need to find me some alcohol.
Oh my God, there are still people here. Priscilla.
Yeah. They're still around.
We need to drink alcohol. Me too. But I said coffee instead.
I think maybe we should
get out and get in.
Yeah, restart.
Let's get out and get in. I'm leaving
and stop the recording, and then we stop the recording session.
Yeah, don't record us drinking.